Hi, everyone. Sherry Rosenthal here, and we have a live broadcast. And today we're going to be talking about, do you have a mindset for abundance and making money in your business? And I always love talking about mindset. It's something that we constantly need to be reminded about. I think that you can't hear it too many times. And so maybe some of the things I'm talking about today you've heard already. That's great if you have. And if you haven't, that's really fantastic too. So I'm really excited about today. Okay, so let's get started then while everybody is coming on to listen. So one thing I want to say about money is we've got so many beliefs about it from when we were young and growing up, and a lot of them are not very sustainable beliefs. And for me, at least, it's taken a good part of my life to actually dig through them and see what it is that I have in my head, what is causing the problems in my life, and how I can work through them. So I'm going to be sharing a few things, at least, that help me wrap my head around making money. And I can say that I grew up in a lower middle class family when I was young. And even though my parents wanted me to make money and become a doctor and make a good living, at the same time, they would also talk badly about people who were wealthy, right? They were stingy, or they were rude, or they weren't nice, or they were greedy, or whatever else they would say about me. So in my head, supposed to be wealthy, but it wasn't nice to be wealthy. So that right there is very, very conflicting. And then on top of it, you have all of your religious beliefs regarding money, whereas there's beliefs about greed and an abundance of money not being a good thing. So let's talk a little bit about this. First of all, one of the things that helped me the most is to understand that money is just a representation of energy spent over time, right? So if I work X amount of hours and I put forth X amount of transformation and service, I'm going to get a piece of paper that represents that amount of transformation and service. That's it. In and of itself, it's neither good nor bad. It's just a method of exchange. So if we look back to the beginnings of time, people traded, right? So if you raised chickens and you needed some vegetables, you would go to the vegetable person with a chicken and you would exchange whatever a chicken is worth in that much vegetables. And people didn't have trouble trading in that way. It was what it was. You made your bargain and off you went. And today, it doesn't seem to be that way, because the idea of the piece of paper that represents the energy worked over time has a whole story around it now. And so for me, it helps to just take that step back and ask myself, what am I giving? You know, what actually is going on here? And that is that I am doing a service, and then I should be paid back. Maybe not with the chicken, but with a piece of paper that shows the value. So when you look at it that way, all of that negativity from the idea of making money, because you understand that if you stop the flow of money and you don't accept that piece of paper for the energy and transformation that you've put forth, what you're actually doing is you're stopping the flow of abundance. Because that is move, if you say no, like you've given a service to somebody and they want to pay you, and you're saying no, or you're only accepting a little bit of money because you don't have that value of yourself, you're actually being selfish, because you are stopping that flow of abundance. Because then if you did accept that money, you would have that money and you would be able to buy and get something else that you need. And then that money would continue to flow to somebody else. And this is something that we don't realize. We think, oh, we're doing the other person a favor. No, you're not doing anybody a favor by not accepting what is due you. Okay? You are stopping that flow of energy and abundance, and what you're doing is being selfish. And the reason you're being selfish is because if you had that money, you would then purchase something else, and that person would purchase something else, and they would purchase something else, and that abundance would continue. But you're stopping it because of a concept you have in your mind and your internal dialogue, your thought form, an idea, which isn't even truth. So when you think about that seriously and you realize, oh my gosh, I am being selfish, I'm stopping that flow of energy, that is some serious stuff. Now, if we look back to the beginning of time when people traded, right? And then we got into organized religions. I feel that a lot of the way that the organized religions were used was to control people, mostly the people who didn't have the money. So it was a way for people with money and power to control people that don't have money and power. And that has trailed along all of these years. So when you look at some of the things that religion says about greed and having money, and that's bad, it isn't bad. There's nothing about money that's bad, good, or otherwise. Again, it's simply an exchange of energy. So if you decide you no longer want to be swayed by those old paradigms, you have to sit with yourself and say, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to say that because I'm actually going to accept money for a service that I have given with all of my heart, and I've created great transformation, I deserve that exchange. And it has nothing to do with being a bad spiritual person or anything of the like. One of the things that really drives me crazy is in the spiritual community. And this is so prevalent amongst heart-centered entrepreneurs because they all have big hearts and they're so spiritually centered. And they have this thing about not being able to ask for what they're worth, or saying, oh no, you should be giving, your teachings for free. No, you should not be giving your teachings for free because it is against spiritual tenets because of what I just said about the lack of flow of energy. If you don't get paid what you're worth, you cannot help in the world. Like, for example, in our company, we give back. It's part of the fabric of the business. So if we make money, we give money. And that is so, so, so important. If you don't make a dime and you can barely pay your bills, then how can you give to others? You can't. You don't have the money to give. You don't have the resources. So how is that spiritually wonderful? It's not. You're not being able to do anything change-wise in the world. I mean, you could personally donate some time. Sure, you could do that. But probably you're struggling with 2 extra jobs because you don't have enough money to put food on the table and pay your bills. So to me, that's not a very intelligent way of functioning in life. So I'd like to hear if anyone has anything to say about that. If you do, post below and say hello and make a comment. and let me know. So another thing that you can do around valuing yourself is to really think about when you work and when you help somebody, how does that make you feel? It makes you feel good, right? You feel like you're contributing to the world. And if you're contributing to the world, you deserve to get something back for that. I mean, that's a lovely thing. It's like trading a chicken. You want to do that. So I encourage you, if you can, sit and journal, write down what beliefs you have around money. What did your parents teach you? What do you personally believe? What do you struggle with? And know that you are worth something. You're here for a reason. We all are. We have something very special to contribute, unique to us. And I think it's a sad thing if we weren't in the world to contribute that. I mean, I feel like I've contributed many things over the years. You know, when I used to be a physician, then I taught the 4 agreements. Now, my company helps retreat leaders add transformational destination retreats to their business and helps them create retreat-ready businesses. So we do business coaching too, but I feel like that value is there. When I first got into business, when I first went into practice, it was really hard for me to take money from people for my work. It really was. And it was that whole thing that I was experiencing from growing up. I felt like, oh, you know, people don't have the money. I can't charge them. It's just not a good way to be. It's just not a good way to be. And people do appreciate paying for a service they've received. I do. I feel like if someone has done right by me and given me something special that's life-changing, whether it's business coaching advice, whether it's from a doctor, whether it's about buying an article of clothing that might look well on me, whatever that advice is, I want to pay that person. I want them to have something for what they gave me. It means a lot to me. And I know that people feel the same way about you. And perhaps if you have some clients that really don't have a lot of money, you can do some sort of scholarship. And for everyone else, then you have a full pay for people who can afford it so that that money can keep moving around and you can keep creating abundance in your life. So hopefully that is very helpful to you. Anyway, I just wanted to share this little tidbit with you. I would love for you to post below this Facebook Live and let me know how this sits with you. Is it something that you're struggling with? Are you frustrated because you are having trouble accepting money? I'd love to know what some of your beliefs are around money. I think it would be fun to have a conversation about that. And just see what's going on inside with you. And also, if you want to be reminded of Facebook Lives every time we're going to be doing them, I'm going to put a link above that you can click. And that way, anytime you want to come onto a Facebook Live, if we're doing one, it's going to send you a message in your messenger. So I really, really appreciate you being here today. And if you're coming in late, you can listen to the whole thing again, which is fine. You can listen as many times as you like. Oh, I got a message here from Deb. Deb says, it's covering my whole face, this message. Hi, Sherry. Price objection is so hard for some people to overcome because they don't even realize where their thoughts about money come from. Exactly, Deb. This is what I'm saying. I coach spiritual people who are not charging what they're worth. And I tell them either of these two things are going on. Either they doubt their abilities because they haven't done the work before, or they have a price objection. Well, absolutely, Deb, that's such a good point. And again, I really feel it's from childhood beliefs that they have around money. And I think it's because they don't understand really the symbology of money, which is, I don't know if you were listening from the beginning, but I was saying that money is simply, it's a piece of paper that represents energy over time, or transformation given, or service given. So if that's all it is, if someone's afraid to take money for that, that's selfishness, because they're stopping the flow of abundance in the universe. So anyway, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I'm going to hop off now. Do post comments below. We'd love to hear from you, especially on this topic, because this is a pretty loaded topic. So thank you, everybody. Thanks for popping in, and we'll see you on another Facebook Live soon. Bye-bye.